I swear, sports and music are so synonymous because we want to be them and they want to be us. Aubrey Graham, aka Drake, the Champagne Poppy, said that, and I'm saying this. Welcome to High and Low. Good day and good night. Welcome to the High and Low Basketball Podcast. This is episode number 100 and Manu, aka episode number 120. See, 20 is a number that was worn by the sixth man of the century, Pop's Argentinian minion, USA basketball assassin, Heedle's executioner, the NBA's very own Batman, Spurs legend, Hall of Fame, four-time NBA champ, Manu Ginobili.
Wow.
As if that intro doesn't tell you enough.
I haven't heard many of those.
Manu.
Argentinian minion? Wow.
I made that one up.
That's great.
I do have a fun fact about El Contusion. That's a shout out to Brent Berry, who named him El Contusion based on his reckless play at times. Manu Ginobili won 73% of his games in the NBA and only started in 36% of them. So like I said, sixth man of the century. My name is Ike Amechi, and I'm joined by Sean Khan and Mitch Orsatti. Around here, we live by a principle governed by the high and low lives of the world, which means we talk about basketball, especially and specifically the NBA, and we talk about it at any time, anywhere, north, south, east, west, high and low. So this week, high and low, we're blessing the upcoming NBA season with a soundtrack. Yes, we're getting a little musical. Some of us are on the show are musically inclined. Some are music connoisseurs, and actually the ones that aren't here, they just know that music exists, which is probably why they're
probably
not
for
here.
The best. Yeah,
That's probably for the best. Regardless, we're giving the NBA a soundtrack. We have another great listener question that we'll quickly dive into, though. So before we lock in, let me get right for just a moment. I have an apology to throw out there. Last week, I gave a shout out to Marina Mabry and talking her up and telling you, the listeners, to watch some clips. Meanwhile, I'm jacking up her name, calling her Marina Mabry. My fault. Now, in my defense, I didn't know a Stephanie Mabry back in the day. I don't know if it was Mabry. I think it was, boy. You know what? Yeah, I'm jacking this up. It was, I think it's, in my mind, it's, Mabry came to mind. Okay, anyway, I think my subconscious pulled that pronunciation to my frontal lobe for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, excuses aside, she is Marina Mabry, formerly of Stevens LA Sparks. And if you watch the clips, man, she's box office.
And formerly of Stevens LA Sparks and currently of my
Dallas Wings. Come on. Yes. I was about to ask you, did you know? I was like, hey, did you know that Marina Mabry was playing for your Dallas Wings?
Hard nose.
Hard-nosed defender.
That's right. Love that. That's my prototypical player.
There you go, man. Toughness and tenacity. She's tough and tenacious. Mm-hmm. She could play, man. She could ball. She is a hooper.
Is Toronto ever going to get a team, and are they going to be your team, Mitch? And what will they be called?
Oh, these are great questions.
Yeah, great questions. Great. Thanks so much, Sean. They will absolutely be my team. I'll always have, a little special spot for Dallas. But Toronto will they'll jump the shark and take the number one. What they're going to be called, just go with Huskies. Why not?
I think so.
Why not?
I think it's low-hanging fruit.
I've got to make it complicated.
Well, Huskies probably, you think of a male dog, so can they be called the Toronto?
Don't do it.
Oh, my goodness.
Whoa. What did you just say to me?
Oh, I got that.
There are Huskies.
Low-hanging fruit.
Huskies doesn't mean male. Come on.
It doesn't. It doesn't at all.
Male, right? You don't think female. When I think of a Husky, I think of a male dog.
Well, that's because you, my friend, are
I'm
a
in condition.
sexist.
I'm in condition.
Oh my goodness.
Toronto
Okay,
bitches.
let's save Sean from his
Oh,
own
Sean
tongue.
did this to himself, man.
Exactly.
Save Sean from himself.
Okay, on that note, Sean, Mitch, I appreciate your time this week. Thank you for joining me. Listeners, high and low lives of the world, thank you for joining us for yet another installment of the program. Another week, another episode, more or less NBA, some more high and low. This week in NBA history, there was a Pacer named Ann. So, I don't know. Sean, if you're sexist, you may not like this one. On September 5th, 1979, UCLA Bruins star Ann Myers signed a contract with the Indiana Pacers. Yes, Ann Myers.
A woman?
You heard correctly. A woman.
Can we insert
A woman.
what? Like a Hugo saying what? After you say the name?
Well, I'll look for it. What? Anyway, she became the first woman to sign an NBA contract, which was for $50,000. She was invited to tryouts and worked out with the team in training camp, but did not make the cut. Regardless, she became the first, and she was a woman of many firsts. So listen to this impressive resume by Ann Myers. First high school student to play for the U.S. national team. First woman signed to a 4-year scholarship, and that was at UCLA. She doesn't hold the distinction of being the first woman drafted to an NBA team. That honor lies with her USA basketball teammate, Lucia Harris Stewart, who was drafted she was drafted in the 7th round to the New Orleans Jazz in 1977. But she was the first player to record a quadruple double in NCAA history. Ann Myers scored 20 points, got 14 rebounds, 10 assists, 10 steals. No wonder the Pacers called her. Damn. Actually, one more thing about Ann Myers, because this is wild. So Myers went to high school in La Habra, California. La Habra, California. If I say it twice, maybe it'll stick. I don't know. That's just north of Anaheim and Disneyland. Ann Myers went to Sonora High School, where she lettered in 7 different sports, 13 MVP awards in those sports. 13. Imagine going to high school and just winning 13 MVP awards. It's like, jeez. And so in 1974, she also led her basketball teams, and it says basketball teams, to a combined 80-5 record. Ann Myers crushed it. Sports Illustrated should have put her on the cover. But I'm sure people like Sean were editors over at Sports Illustrated were like, I don't know. Maybe not this year. Do better, Ann. Do
better luck next year.
Anyway, after getting cut by the Pacers, Myers played in the WPBL, the Women's Professional Basketball League, and won co-MVP. And then she eventually became a color analyst for the Pacers and has been working in sports broadcasting ever since. Ann Myers. Anyway, that's a little something for the NBA history nerds. Let's jump into some questions. So as mentioned before, we have a listener question for the table. So let's talk about it.
Let's talk about something important.
This question is from a familiar name, Cam in Henderson, Nevada. Shout out to Cam. If Hugo was here, I would ask Hugo if he'd want to know what Cam pronouns were. But, Hugo, last time I asked Hugo for pronouns, he started coughing and choking on his own.
Man was tripping all over himself. Jeez.
Never mind. Anyway, the question is this. If you could swap lives with any current player for a day, who would it be?
I'm torn, very torn on this one. I'm torn between 2 players. On the one hand, I'm not sure how the answer isn't Kawhi Leonard, because he's hella rich, solid family connection, lives close enough to home while being able to travel whenever he wants. No public fallout from getting caught clapping cheeks in a booty club. All pluses.
Wow.
On the other hand, Nikola Jokic, also hella rich, seems to just party and ride horses all day in the Serbian mountains. That seems pretty great too. So I don't know. I really don't know. That's my. I'm going to choose 2. I'm choosing 2. Yeah.
I really wanted to go with Nikola Jokic just because he's not riding horses. He's like sitting in a carriage, like the horse is like pulling him along. So I have never ever seen that in person. But for me, it's really easy, and the answer is Steph Curry. And it's not because he's got all the rings or he's an MVPs. He's got no scandals. He's probably the most famous basketball player in the world. But my dude is a scratch golfer, and I am a golf fanatic, and I wish I was that good. So for me, it's Steph Curry.
Nice.
Can I just say that I'm glad that Cam said current also.
I said current, actually.
Oh, you said current. Okay.
I put the current in parentheses because I figured let's just make this one easier for us.
Because I mean, I might have tried to catch Andrei Kirilenko on his cheat day. You know what I'm saying?
Or maybe even like a Tim Duncan. It seems like he's living a very interesting life.
Tim Duncan too, yeah. Then I dress like Tim Duncan though.
Yeah.
Before John Wall made that admission of having suicidal thoughts during his time off, I would have thought it would have been John Wall. I mean, you just
paid
getting paid to be at home, paid to sit. Like, goodness, great, I'll take that. But not if it's gonna take that toll on me.
Yeah, tough one. Shout out to John Wall.
Yeah, and like as much as everyone hates on him for that, like he's still a basketball player to his core. So I'm sure he wants to play, but it's just a weird situation in terms of his contract and his injuries and stuff. So
gotta be tough. Okay, shout out to Cam in Henderson, Nevada. Great question, actually. I got another note here because things that happen in the NBA. Finally, the New York Knicks, the Knickerbockers of New York. Yeah, they tried to play a game of chicken with Danny Ainge and the Jazz, and they lost. They refused to throw in the picks required to make the deal for Donovan Mitchell. Instead, they extended R.J. Barrett 4 years, $120 million, which pretty much ended those talks with Utah. So now Donovan Mitchell ends up in Cleveland, playing next to Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. And the Cavs, all the Cavs had to give up was Colin Sexton, who wasn't going to get he was going to get some time, but he was going to be playing behind Darius Garland. And they got Lauri Markkanen. I forget the name. It's their 2022 lottery pick.
Oh yeah,
they got 3 unprotected firsts. Yes, Ocher. 3 unprotected firsts and 2 pick swaps. Yeah,
that's a pretty good package. Pause.
Decent haul-ish, I think.
Pause on that. Big pause. Leon Rose and his Knicks. Yes. It feels like they had a 1-point lead with 4 seconds on the clock and turned the ball over. Crazy.
Great analogy.
Classic Knicks.
Exactly.
Knicks going Knicks.
What do you guys think about the deal?
Yeah, I mean, if Cleveland's like a playoff team for the next 3 to 5 years, then those picks aren't as good. But I mean, I'd like to see what other teams were offering, but it seems like they got back kind of what they're looking for.
Yeah,
I think it's a good deal. You know what? It's kind of a good deal for both teams, to be honest. Utah needed to get rid of Donovan Mitchell, and every team in the league knew that. I think they got a pretty good return, considering, it's hard to trade both of your cornerstone franchise players and receive maximum value. And I think Utah did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, they got so many picks.
Cleveland, though, is it enough? I don't know. Like, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are both minus defenders. They got 2 bigs in the interior to kind of help out with that. But, I mean, they're not playing 48 minutes. I don't know. 5th, 6th seed.
Which is still an improvement. I think they were with the 7 or 8 seed last year, right? And they've added an all-star caliber player to a team that before Rubio's injury, or who was that got injured? Jarrett Allen. Before those 2 injuries, they were a 3 or 4 seed, were they not?
Yeah, they were. You're right.
Yeah, they were trending well for sure.
So, I mean, I expect some big things from them next year.
Yeah, because I mean, you put Boston, Philly, Milwaukee in front, Miami.
I think it's a toss up, honestly. Miami, Cleveland, Toronto for the next, 4, 5, 6.
And you got to figure Miami is going to start, turning the corner in terms of like trending in the wrong direction just because of age and stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think Jimmy Butler's going to keep those dreads in the season?
Yes, he will.
You think so? Oh God, I hope so.
I think those dreads disappear maybe week 3 of
I
the
don't know,
season.
man. Pat Riley, I don't see it happening. I can see Pat Riley saying you got to lose those.
Who was Bam rumored to get traded for recently?
Katie.
That wasn't go. It was Katie. Okay,
Yeah, you notice we didn't mention the Nets in that standings group.
I know.
Nope.
Disaster.
Yeah. Enough about them. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's funny because I see James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie all playing. And I forget where the runs. It wasn't Rico. It wasn't Rico Hines, but there was some run. And I was scrolling. I saw the run, scrolled some more. Then I see a picture of Ben Simmons walking with some girl, and apparently they broke up.
Yeah.
They announced that their engagement was off. I'm like, so this is what Ben is doing? Why can't he's not running with his boys? Come on, man. What's happening with Brooklyn, man?
This guy,
It's
man.
like, get in the gym. Exactly. This guy. That's what I'm gonna say from now on when it comes to Ben Simmons.
This
Just 2
guy.
words. This guy.
And
I'd
honestly,
like to throw a third word in the middle of this and guy.
That's true.
he could benefit so much from like literally just practicing. Like every time he practices, he probably improves because he's so young and like so
And
talented.
gifted.
But,
Yeah,
gifted,
incredibly
yeah.
talented.
Yeah.
No waste.
Insane. Anyway, so things are happening in NBA. Donovan Mitchell is a Cleveland Cavalier. But hey, just one more reminder to listeners, get that high and low merch available on Vonn+Abrahamm.com. Link is in the show notes. If you want to leave a question for us to answer on the show, drop a DM on TikTok or Instagram. Links are in the show notes. So it's time to put this segment on an old rickety roller coaster that sways a little too aggressively, even when the wind isn't blowing. It's crazy. When we come back, we're building the soundtrack for the NBA, the Sound of the League. Let's call it the Sound of the League. We'll be right back with more High and Low. This moment is brought to you by High and Low listeners. This week, we had listeners share their top 5 NBA player turned music artists. We heard from Quinn in Somerville, Massachusetts. That's just down the road from Cambridge. Shout out to Cambridge. And Quinn's top 5 are as follows, starting with number 5, a tie between Kevin Durant and LeBron James. If you haven't heard the track, Google it now, please. Number 4 is Lonzo Ball. And I know Zoe had bars back in his LA days. Number 3 is Chris Webber, the producer. Number 2 is Dame Dollar, Damian Lillard. You may question some of his abilities on the court, but it's hard to argue with his skill in the booth. Number 1 is Shaquille O'Neal, aka Shaq Fu, Shaq Diesel, 90s hip-hop legend legitimately. Legitimately? I think we can say legitimately. Anyway, great list, Quinn. Surprised that we didn't see AI. Actually, you know what? Not surprised. I think that was more hype than anything else. Anyway, thank you. Appreciate you, Quinn. Now let's get back to High and Low. And we are back. I'm Mike Amechi, and I'm here with Mitch Orsatti and Sean Khan. A long time ago, in a reality many multiverses away, people used to make mixtapes with cassette tapes. They would dub songs onto a blank tape and record songs from the radio. They would label the tape, pop it in their portable music player called a Walkman. The tape would then become the soundtrack of their life for the next few days. The same would happen with CDs years later, and that would transfer over to iPods and now smartphones, courtesy of Spotify. These days, people call them playlists, and these playlists become the soundtracks of our lives. The film and TV industry, they've been using soundtracks for decades. The first soundtrack was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs back in 1938, courtesy of Disney. And the soundtrack, it's a curated list of songs selected by either the filmmaker, the showrunner, or some musical director attached to the project. Sometimes it would contain music directly from the film, the score, and sometimes it would be a list in the spirit of the film or TV show, peppered with one or two tracks from the original score. Quentin Tarantino and Pulp Fiction come to mind. Another one, the Black Panther soundtrack, courtesy of Top Dog.
King Kendrick.
I want to say King Kendrick. All over that one. Why am I going on about soundtracks? Well, today we're giving the 2022-2023 NBA season a soundtrack. And we're going to start by choosing a song that best describes last season. Let's go back to last season. So what song comes to mind when you think of the 2021-2022 season?
I'm actually gonna go a little spin on this one and lean towards the very tail end of the season. I'm gonna look at the off season and how it informed the earlier part of the season. I'm gonna go with Ike. You're gonna love this one. Jermaine Dupri and Jay-Z's ridiculously catchy "Money Ain't a Thing" from Life in 1472, which is a terrible album. And here's why. These NBA players are capital F fleecing some of these owners for their bread. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're rich as hell. Look at this. Dame, 2-year extension for $120 million. Money ain't a thing. LeBron, $100 million for 2 years. Money ain't a thing. Colin Sexton got $472 on his way out from Cleveland. When money isn't just money, it's also picks. And in that regard, we've seen more egregious fleecing. Utah grabbed 15 picks for 2 players. Money ain't a thing for these owners, and it's everything for the players. And even the Warriors, look at them. They maximized their luxury tab by going as far as they possibly could, and they won a chip. To hell with the price, because the money ain't a thing.
I'm so glad I went. I was going to actually say Money Trees by Kendrick, because I feel like the money is growing on trees in the NBA. Where are they getting all this money from? Do they print their own?
That's a good one, too.
Yeah, but I'm going to go with The Show Goes On by Lupe Fiasco.
Lay. Sir.
Yeah. Because the Warriors won again. The show went on. There's even mention of Oakland in the song. I know they play in San Fran, but they used to play in Oakland, so it's a bit of a stretch, but I'm rolling with it. The show went on. Warriors won.
Nice. Hey, just across the bay, man. Just across the bay. For me, the song "The Flow" by J-Ro comes to mind because the alternate title of that song is 4 Stories.
Yeah, I know, but you know how that go. We've been avoiding tough questions, just going with the flow.
What?
Good dude. You know I love you like free food. You only call when you and your mans are going.
And to me, last season was all about this 4 narratives. It was Warriors comeback. It was Jokic, his come up. It's a rise of the Celtics. And then it was just that whole thing that was happening in Brooklyn and Philly. Those, to me, those were the 4 major stories. And listening to that song sums it up for me. 4 Stories by J-Ro, a.k.a.
Nice.
The Flow.
I think you can even expand that last part, the 4th story. It's has the fall of the Titans. The Nets are supposed to be big, nothing. The Lakers, trash. They really sit in that same category.
Yeah, I purposely left the Lakers out of this one.
Listen, if I get an opportunity to shit all over the Lakers, I'm taking it.
Indeed. And you will have an entire season to continue that.
Can't wait.
All right, you guys, what's next?
So now let's look at the coming season, the upcoming season. If you could curate an album soundtrack for this upcoming season for 2022-2023, what would be your opening and closing tracks?
All right, Sean, hop on this one.
So my opening track is actually the theme song to Jurassic Park by composer John Williams. And it's only because I'm a Raps fan, as our listeners should know by now, even though they might think I'm a Heat fan. But my hopes are always high to start the season, so I'll start out on a high note with an epic movie intro. maybe I'll bring them some luck. But to be completely honest, I'm not that hopeful, and my expectations are probably about where they should be with this team, which is a first or second round exit. Also, Jurassic Park probably should have had a first round exit too, because every movie made after the first one, it wasn't very good.
Wow. Might be your hottest take.
Jurassic Park Catching Strays.
Wow. Wow.
Damn.
I mean, I can understand Jurassic World and Jurassic Park 3, but Jurassic Park 2, man, I mean, hey, wasn't too bad.
I got to be honest, I don't remember a damn thing about Jurassic Park 2.
You and me both, sister.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was it the one where what's his name? The scientist guy, and he had a daughter. Is that the one? And his daughter was in it.
Who? Sam Neill?
Not Sam Neill. Sorry, the guy that was in Thor Ragnarok.
Oh,
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. I think he played. Was he the main character of Part 2? And it was.
You went with the guy from Thor Ragnarok.
Independence Day. It's the most recent thing I've seen him in, but
it was a Jeff Goldblum joint. That's all we know.
Nice.
Life finds a way.
What a perfect segue. All of my tracks are going to be Jeff Goldblum jazz tracks moving forward. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, my opening track is going to be from No Worries' immaculate album Yes Lord, and that track is Link Up, because of the incredibly fitting opening line to the song. Bad bitches ought to link up. Bad bitches ought to link up. And we've seen another summer of player movement with new near super squads on the formation. We got Kat and Rudy and Ant, and Donovan, Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland. Inject some new interesting storylines, and like a little bit of a re-link up too with Katie, Kyrie, and I don't know, Ben Simmons. Maybe, who knows? Maybe that guy will play. Maybe he won't. But that's my opening track. I know. That's my opening track. My closing track. I'm going to keep a loose little Anderson .Paak thread here, and I'm going to go with K-Tronada's Glowed Up, which features Anderson .Paak. Full-time killing, bad hole driller, chowder for the kitten, mellow yellow lemon, I'm glowed up. I think when the season is all said and done, legacies, bank accounts, ring fingers of a select few are going to be shining a little brighter. Hardware will be added to trophy cabinets, and the elite of the 22-23 season will be significantly glowed. And it still ain't a goddamn thing they can tell me. That's my theme for that season.
Wow. Mic drop?
Nicely done.
Thank you. This is my jam, man. I've been waiting for this episode.
Sean, did you drop a closing track?
I didn't. Do you want to drop one for me? Okay, so again, like the theme of my answers today is low hanging fruit. I'm not a music connoisseur like these two fine, well-rounded cultured gentlemen, but I've been trying to keep up. This low hanging fruit answer is Warrior by Lloyd Banks, because I think the Warriors are the favorite to win next year. And again, it's low hanging fruit, but I'm again rolling with it. The pressure, you got us waiting in the hole if they test you. A sacrifice at all if he has to. I like that.
I've got a Warriors theme going too. Because my opening track would be "The World Is Yours" by Nas off of his Illmatic album, basically representing the Warriors reclaiming that crown, and then singing that as a reminder to the league. Hey. That's just me. That's just me. My closing track, though, I'm divided here on two fronts. I'm not quite sure. I think the Warriors will win the title in 2023. And for that side of my brain, I've got Troy, When They Reminisce Over You by Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Because I think the Bucks or the Celtics could be singing that song about the Warriors if they take the title in 2023. But I do think the best representation for me would be Dilla. Two can win. Off of his Donuts album.
God, I love that song so much. I love that whole album so much.
That album is just incredible. You know what? I would just say that let donuts be the
Yeah,
soundtrack
seriously.
of the upcoming NBA season. But specifically, two can win. Whether it's the Warriors, whether it's the Bucks, I'd be a winner in both because I love both of those teams. If the Celtics win,
Yuck.
yeah.
Yuck.
Find me in a
Two
corner
Chainz.
in a puddle of my tears.
Or
Two Chainz featuring Lil Wayne. Yuck. That's Boston.
What if there's a mid-season tournament and there are two winners? So
There you go.
There you go. Two can win. Oh man, I need to listen. Yeah, you know
You should, man. It's only like a minute long.
All right, there you go. Those are the beginnings and the end of our soundtrack for the upcoming NBA season. You know what? We will actually drop a playlist for listeners, and if you guys want to add any extra songs to that playlist, let me know.
I might got a few.
I'll link to it. Okay. All right. Let's take a quick break because I have one more question for you guys. All right. We'll be right back with more High and Low.
All right, you guys, what's next?
All right, we are back. This is High and Low, and I have one more question from Mitch Rosati and Sean Khan before we sign off and call it an episode. This is a roundabout way of asking you guys to pick your... Tell me who you think will win the NBA title next year. But hey, why don't you choose a track or an album that best describes your pick to win the NBA title in 2023?
Okay, I saw right through this question. And you know what? I didn't bite because it's so tough. I'm not there yet. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on my pick to win it all. I love the repeat odds of the Warriors. I also love the Nuggets and the Clippers if they can stay healthy, which are big ifs for both of those squads. I'd love to say the Bucks, but I'm not sure they really improved outside of, chemistry and natural progression in their roster. Boston, I can't bring myself to even contemplate what that would look like, so I'm not going to even say it. But since I'm not ready to pick any one contender like you, I'm going to take the field against the Warriors, which I still don't love. I might still like the Warriors. And I'm going to go with, my song is going to be Childish Gambino's Zombies from Awaken My Love.
Okay.
And there's a line in there that says, you can hear them coming, you can hear them breathing down your spine. And they want yours. Here they come behind you. Try to stay alive. That's my theme for the Warriors fending off the rest of the league.
Ooh. Okay. I like that's a very good description, actually.
That's a very
I
good
think
answer.
that's exactly how they're gonna feel.
I'm not sure I can follow that up.
You have to.
So
yeah, sorry.
in my last answer, I mentioned that the Warriors, I think we're going to win, but I'm going to change my answer up just to kind of add a little bit of color on this podcast. But I'm going to go with "Super Freak" by Rick James because the Greek Freak is going to win it. Do I really believe they're going to win? I mean, no, but I just wanted a different answer. So again, I'm rolling with it. Deal with it.
It's a great song.
Super freak.
Super freak.
Super freak.
Super freaky.
I was just gonna say, like, dude, you mentioned the Bucks not improving, and yeah, it's tough to see. It's really tough to see anyone winning again besides the Warriors. Like, I don't think anyone's. I like the Nuggets if they're healthy, and LA obviously if they're like the Clippers, but it's really hard to see anyone winning but the Warriors actually.
But you know what, man? Like the Warriors too, they got some minuses on their ledger too. Steph Curry, Draymond, and Clay are another year older.
Yeah.
Hangover from winning. Like I'll never bet against them. Really, I won't. That's why I didn't love making the pick I did. But I don't know. I can see it being a bit fragile for them too, right? Like one little thing to go wrong, and that might be it.
They've only repeated once, right? And that was with KD.
Yeah,
that's right.
So
yeah.
Whatever that means.
Actually, I was having this discussion with another basketball connoisseur who went out on a limb, in my opinion, and said that Jason Tatum is going to win the MVP this year, and Boston Celtics are going to have the best record in the league.
He's not going to win with Brown on that team too.
Best record is a possibility, but
Maybe.
I can't see.
Yeah, I
him
could see
winning
that.
MVP. It's just he doesn't have a well-rounded enough game, in my opinion. Even though he did improve, like he was making a conscious effort to pass more last year, but he's not
Jaylen
gonna-
Brown, Jaylen Brown will steal votes from him too. He won't get any votes. Jaylen Brown won't get votes, but Jaylen Brown's
He'll
going to
take
average
stats.
he'll average like 22, 25. It's not enough.
Yeah.
But Tatum's got to average either 10 rebounds or 10 assists to be in that conversation. He's got to be like
Not gonna happen.
26, 27, and 10 guy in something, and it's not going to happen because Luka is going to be up there as well, right?
We'll mark this because it's going to be interesting to watch. Because I do see your point in terms of Jaylen Brown. He will average 24, 25 a game. He just he wills himself to that number. Whereas I feel like Jason Tatum, those numbers just kind of come naturally to him. And I think
that's a good point.
it just feels a little more effortless. But if you're playing next to a guy that's putting up those kind of numbers, I think in MVP voters are just thinking, well, are you the most valuable player? And like, how much value do you really have in comparison to this other guy? What would your team be doing without him?
Right.
So there we have it.
Love it.
Wrapped it up. Mitch loved this episode. Mitch is a music guy, by the way. If you want any recommendations in terms of good music to listen to, reach out to Mitch. So pay attention when I ask where you can find Mitch.
Yes. Any genre. Holler.
Yeah. Reach out to Mitch, man. Reach out to Mitch and ask him. And I'm telling you, he will enrich. Mitch will enrich your playlist.
Why the fuck I can't shoot 3-point shots?
Anyway, that brings us to the end of this episode of High and Low. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Sean. Hey, subscribe to High and Low anywhere you find podcasts and make us a part of your weekly routine. You know where to find us. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Links to those are in your show notes. In these show notes, not your show notes, but our show notes. So where can listeners find you, Mitch? Tell them so that you can enrich their playlist.
Yeah, you can find me over on Twitter at Thirsty Villain. I never go begging for DMs, but this is a time I'm going to say, look, you want to DM me? Please feel free, DM me. Let me know what you're looking for. I got you.
Indeed. And Sean, where can they find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram at Sean_controversy. You can find me showing up on time and preparing for every single podcast. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Canada basketball. They're qualifying for the World Championships. They're currently sitting at 6-0. In contrast, the U.S. is 5-1. Canada has 198 point differential. The U.S. has 66. So well on our way to qualifying and well on our way to moving up from our number 19 in the world ranking.
Wow.
Good shout out.
Once again, music is by Live, the Enjoy Music Group. You can find Live on Twitter and Instagram at LYVE. Additional music by Sonny Rockwell of The Goodness. Can't find that guy anywhere. Sound design is by Vonn+Abrahamm. This is a Vonn+Abrahamm podcast, just in case you didn't know. So on behalf of Mitch Orsatti and Sean Kahn, I'm Ike Mechi. Thank you for listening to High and Low. We'll see you next week.
Kuminga sprays it from 3.
Oh, no.